كتاب الله، من حديث، من روايات، من كتب موثقة، ومع إرشاد عالم ديني محيط بهاي الأمور. طبعا في حين ذلك زالت الجبال ولم يزل عقيدتك في محله. الإمام علي عليه السلام يقول لكميل: الناس ثلاث، نحن في المجتمع ثلاث أقسام نصنف، فعالم رباني عالم رباني، عالم متقي درس علوم الدين، درس علوم الفقه، هذا عالم دين ومتعلم على سبيل النجاة. واكو شخص يتعلم الدين ما يعرف الدين بس يروح ورا الدين، اذا صار عنده سؤال، اذا صار عنده شبهة، يطلب العلم، يطلب النصيحة والهداية من ذلك العالم الرباني في سبيل النجاة لكي ينجو بدينه. وقسم ثالث واللي هم القسم الأكبر مع الأسف للمجتمع، وهمج الرعاع أتباع كل ناعق يميلون مع كل ريح. القسم الثالث مع الأسف القسم اللي لا هم متعلمين ولا هم علماء دين، اللي يمشون على هواهم، كل ناعق، كل شخص يقوم، كل شخص يدعي بأي شيء يتبعونه. ولذلك هؤلاء الذين لم يتعلموا، هؤلاء الذين لم يتثقفوا، لم يستضيئوا بنور العلم ولم يركنوا إلى ركن وثيق. فعلينا أن نركن إلى الركن الوثيق، علينا أن نركن إلى أهل البيت، إلى كتاب الله وإلى سنة أهل البيت وسنة رسوله. ولذلك رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم قال: إني تارك فيكم ما إن تمسكتم بهما لن تضلوا أبدا. ما هما التركتان؟ ما هما أحسنتم؟ كتاب الله وعترتي أهل بيتي، فإنهما لن يفترقا حتى يردا علي الحوض. نسأل الله العلي القدير أن يثبتنا على هذا المنهاج، على اتباع الكتاب واتباع سنة نبيه وأهل بيته، ببركة الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وآله الطاهرين، سيما علي أمير المؤمنين وحبيبته الزهراء المرضية، والحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة، وعلي بن الحسين زين العابدين، ومحمد بن علي الباقر، وجعفر بن محمد الصادق، وموسى بن جعفر الكاظم، وعلي بن موسى الرضا، ومحمد بن علي الجواد، وعلي بن محمد الهادي، والحسن بن علي الزكي العسكري، والحجة بن الحسن القائم المهدي. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين. أوصيكم عباد الله بتقوى الله. قال الله الحكيم في محكم كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر منكم. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Dear brothers and sisters, we in a few days' time will be the martyrdom anniversary of Imam Al-Hasan Al-Askari, the father of our beloved Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman, the Imam of our time. And on this occasion, we remember the efforts and the role that Imam al-Hasan al-Askari played in his time. As we mentioned in the first sermon, Imam al-Hasan al-Askari had a couple of important roles that he had to play because he was the last apparent Imam, the last Imam who was visible for the Shias to see and to follow and to refer to. After him would come Imam al-Mahdi, who will first go into the smaller occultation, al-Ghaybat al-Sughra, then the larger, the greater occultation, in which the smaller occultation was when Imam al-Mahdi, he wasn't amongst the people, but he had appointed people, he had appointed representatives on his behalf who the Shias would be able to refer to go to get their teachings, to get their rulings, to ask their inquiries from those representatives. And then the greater occultation when even those people were not there anymore. And then there were the general representatives of the Imam, who are the scholars. The Imam referred the Shias to go to the scholars for their teachings, for their knowledge, for their education. So Imam al-Hasan al-Askari, and before him, the Imams before Imam Hasan al-Askari, which we call Abna al-Rida or Khawatim al-A'imma, which some scholars refer to. They are the last Imams before Imam al-Mahdi. These Imams, they tended to go this path, to start this trajectory of having the Shias not refer directly to the Imam himself. But they would rather ask the Shias to go and refer to their representatives in their own respective cities or areas or regions. And they would have a chain of commands. So each local representative would deal with the people in his own locality, and then those would refer to a higher representative, who that higher representative would, for example, come to the Imam and get his teachings or his rulings from the Imam. These started ever since the time of Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq, then going onwards when the obstacles for the Imam became larger and the ruling powers and the tyrants and the oppressing powers put the Imams in more restraint and the Imams were less visible to the people. This was a very productive and a very functional method of reaching their word to the Shias, to be able to communicate and stay in touch with the Shias through their representatives. So they established a network of people who they trusted and who the Shias trusted as well, to be their path to the Shias, to get their teachings out to the Shias. So this organization, this blessed network that they had placed, the same model, the same sample has continued up until today, which today we call it the model or the organization of the Marja'iyas. The Marja'iyas, the Maraja', they're not appointed by the Imam. The Imam has not appointed them directly. But in the hadith, Al-Imam al-Hujjah, Ajallallahu ta'ala faraj al-Sharif, he gives authority to them, but this isn't an essential authority, dear brothers and sisters. Keep that in mind. The ayah which I recited in the beginning of the verse, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu ati'u Allah wa ati'u ar-rasul wa ulil amri minkum. It is obvious that ulil amri minkum, we do not mean the people who rule you, whoever that might be. We mean ulil amri minkum, they are the people who have been introduced to us through hadith and through the Quran itself, that these are the infallibles, the people who do not make any mistakes. You have to give complete submission to these people only. That is the complete submission that we give. And this is a characteristic that the Shia have had throughout history. They had been giving complete submission to their Imams and followed the Imams dearly and very closely. As we have in the hadith that Imam al-Sadiq asked his close companion, how is your faith? It means, how is your faith to me? How do you believe in me as an Imam? He told him, O Imam, if you cut an apple in half and tell me that this half is halal and this half is haram, I will obey you without any doubt. Because you're the infallible, you're the ma'soom. I cannot doubt you. So this is the essential and the essential authority that Allah has given the Imams and the Ma'sumins. But the non-Ma'sumins, it is not essential in them, but it is superficial. The Imams have referred us in the time of necessity. We are in the time of necessity. We are the time which we cannot reach the Imam directly. We cannot reach the pure spring of knowledge itself. It is hidden from us. Imam al-Mahdi is hidden from us. But we rather come to the closest thing we can, to the closest means of knowledge that we can, and they are the people who studied this faith and who studied their paths. For that, Imam al-Hujjah says, وَأَمَّا الْحَوَادِثِ الْوَاقِعَ فَارْجَعُوا فِيهَا إِلَى رُوَاةِ حَدِيثِنَا. For the events that the upcoming events in the future, go to those who are the narrators of our hadith, those who are familiar with our hadith. فَإِنَّهُمْ حُجَّتِي عَلَيْكُمْ وَأَنَّا حُجَّةُ اللَّهِ. Keep in mind that the Imam does not say here the fuqaha. He does not say the scholars. He does not say the people who have knowledge. He says the people who are, he describes them as ruwat. He describes them the people who carry our narrations, the people who are familiar with our narrations, with our sayings. Because there are multiple trends and there are multiple schools amongst the jurists. Some of them say, or they produce their hadith or produce their rulings, their ahkam from something called qiyas. They compare something to something else and they come up with a new hukum, with a new ruling. This in the faith of Ahlul Bayt, we do not accept that. ما منا القياس والاستحسان. We do not, Ahlul Bayt say, we do not approve of qiyas, a qiyas that comes from a basis that is not from the teachings of, not from the text. We do not approve of that. Nor do we approve of istihsan. In other schools of faith, the jurist has the ability, if he sees something fit, even though he does not have any grounds, any religious grounds from the Quran or from the Hadith, he has that power or the ability to bring up something from his own and say, I see that this is suitable for this society, for example, without any grounds or any basis. Ahlul Bayt refute this. It has to be based upon the text, upon things that Ahlul Bayt have taught us themselves. Otherwise, we would be going down very deviant paths in deviant ways. So they have set us a ruler, they have set us, a straight and a visible and clear path to follow. Imam al-Hasan al-Askari as well, he describes to us who these people should be, what attributes these ruwats, these narrators should have. He says, فَأَمَّا مَنْ كَانَ مِنَ الْفُقَهَا. So he's describing a jurist right now. Whoever amongst the jurists, كَانَ صَائِنًا لِنَفْسِهِ حَافِظًا لِدِينِهِ. Whoever was able to preserve himself, preserve his faith, and have a good deen, have a good religion, be good in his religion, or to be sincere in his religion. مُخَالِفًا لِهَوَاهِ. He went against his desires. Even if a ruling, even if a teaching is against his own benefits and his own interest, he would give out that ruling. He does not have any desires that would control him. مُطِيعًا لِأَمْرِ مَوْلَاهِ. He is submissive to his Mawla. Who is his Mawla? They are the Imam of Ahlul Bayt. It is the Prophet, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as the ayah says, أطيعوا الله, أطيعوا الرسول. He is submissive to those. فَلِلْعَوَامِ أَن يُقَلِّدُوهُ. The general people, the people who do not have his status or his rank in knowledge, it is their duty to قَلِّدُوهُ. قَلِّدُوهُ, what does قَلِّدُوهُ mean? Does it mean follow? قَلَدَ in Arabic is the necklace, they call it the qalada, is necklace, whatever you put in the neck of somebody. When you say قَلِّدُوهُ, the people, the general people, every practice that they do in Islam, every teaching that they follow, every ruling that they follow, it is in the neck of that jurist. So the day of judgment, we will not be questioned, why did you pray 2 rak'ahs for Salat al-Subh? Why did you do qasr when you were traveling? We say what we were commoners. We did not have that expertise, knowledge of Islam, but this person who we were following, this person who told us what to do, he gave us the ruling. This marja' or this faqih told us to do this and this and this. And we saw the descriptions in him. We saw that he was pious. We saw that he was knowledgeable. And we distinguished the a'lamiyya in this person. Therefore, we followed him. So in the day of judgment, they won't ask us more than that. But they would rather ask that faqih and that person. So it is in his neck, like a necklace. So our deeds and our practices are in the neck of the person who we take our teachings from. So these are the advices of the advice of Imam Hasan al-Askari and the recommendation and the path that Imam al-Hujjah Ajjallahu Ta'ala Faraj al-Sharif paved for us. But today, there might be some questions, a lot of questions actually, about this concept, about this relationship that we have between us and the jurist, us and the person with the religious authority. We see that, well, there are multiple maraja' here in the world of Islam, and God bless them all. And we wish for God to assert them and to help them all in their endeavors. But for some Shias, this is a means of suspicion. This is a means of distrust. How come one marja' says something and another says another? Aren't they following the same book? Aren't they studying the same riwayat? How come this marja' says today is Ramadan, the other one says it's Eid? Do they not follow one religion? How is that? Why is that there? In response, this is the beauty about fiqh in Islam. In Islam, or our duty as people to follow the jurist, to follow the knowledgeable, this is our obligation. This is what Islam wants from us, to follow the person who has expertise in it. So whether that person who is an expert, whether his decision, if it gets to the real fact, which is in fact our duty, or not, He's followed his own path sincerely. He wanted to get the real truth from the Kitab, from the Sunnah, and he tried to do that sincerely, and we followed him on that. So whatever path it leads, it is not upon us anymore. I'll set you an example. Maybe it's become a bit confusing. In the time of Imam al-Sadiq, there were 3 jurists in Kufa, okay? Maybe some of you would be familiar with some of these stories. There were 3 jurists in Kufa. These jurists, their lives were in danger. So Imam wrote 3 letters. On all 3 letters, he wrote the letter Jim in Arabic. He didn't write anything more because the situation or the circumstances were dear circumstances. There were spies, there were people. If anybody would come to this letter and see this letter, it could have cost the life of the Imam and the life of that person as well. So the Imam just wrote in code, he wrote Jim for that person and sent it to that jurist. Each of those 3 jurists, they received this letter, they opened the letter, they knew it was from the Imam, they knew the messenger. They opened the letter, they said that my Imam is ordering me to do Jim. What does Jim mean for me? For one jurist, he came to this conclusion that Jim, Imam, means for me to do Jala. In Arabic, Jala means to migrate, to flee from the city, to go out from the city. He found out that I should do Jala, I should migrate from the city. So he gathered his stuff, his belongings, and he migrated from Kufa and went to another city. The second jurist, when he opened the letter, it was the same letter, the letter Jim. He opened the letter and said, so my Imam wants me to become, he understood Junoon from the Jim. My Imam wants me to imitate or make myself or play the role of a person who has gone crazy, a person who has gone mad. So the people of Kufa would see him from the next day riding his cane and making out the sound or the noises of a horse and telling, this is my horse. This cane is my horse and move away from my horse. All of you know the stories of Bahlul. The third jurist, when he opened the letter, it was also Jim. What he found out from the Jim was Janana. Janana in Arabic means to conceal, to be concealed or to hide. So he understood that he should hide himself and not be in the society anymore. So these 3 letters from the Imam went to these 3 jurists. And the 3 jurists, they assumed different assumptions from these letters. They came up with different solutions, and all 3 solutions saved their lives. So what mattered here was for them to be attentive to the Imam's orders, to respect the Imam's orders and come up with their own understanding. That's what the Imam wanted from them, and all 3 of them received that thing. What if in the day of Qiyamah, Allah came to us and told us, the day that you were supposed to have Eid was not necessarily the thing that I wanted to test you by. I didn't want you to test you to say, oh, he performed Eid on Monday, not on Tuesday. I wanted you to follow this route of authority. I wanted you to submit to this person who is the scholar, this person who is the expertise. This is what I wanted from you, this submission. I didn't exactly want you to fast on either Monday or Tuesday. That was irrelevant. So this is how we could explain this pluralism that's amongst the jurists and amongst the Shia community. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us this sincerity towards deen and this submission to Himself and to His Prophet and to the Imams, inshallah, and that He expedites the reappearance of Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman, so we could see him and we could get from him the teachings, the pure knowledge of Ahlul Bayt directly. But in the meantime, that he makes us steadfast on following the haqq and not to fall into the traps of the batil. ببركة الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على